My name is Mark Okoye, and I currently serve as the Commissioner for Budget and Planning in Anambra State. Anambra is only 60 kilometers away from this location. It's a pleasure to be here, so thank you to the organizers and thank you to the audience for having us. One president, one vice president, 109 senators, 360 Federal House of Rep members, 72 governors and deputy governors, 1,152 State House of Assembly members, and 1,548 local government chairmen and deputies. A total of 3,243 positions up for elections every 4 years. Of this amount, you and I, young people under 35, account for only less than 5%. But how surprising is it? Because we, as a generation below 35, account for 65% of Nigeria's population. So clearly there's an imbalance, there's an injustice, there's a disconnect. We can't have our grandparents formulating and implementing policies on behalf of us and our unborn children. But it's quite interesting because Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa. We're supposed to set those trends that should act as a wave of transformation on the African continent. But we have the likes of Rwanda, who have a youth-inclusive government, and over the last 5 years have become the hub for technology and innovation on the continent. 4 hours away from Enugu International Airport, we have Ethiopia, which is breaking boundaries in gender equality in governance and has zoned 50% of its cabinet to women. And we are here dealing with 5%. So I'm here to talk to you all about how we can find those opportunities, but more importantly, prepare for those opportunities in governance when they do come. I joined government at 25. I'm 32 today. I've held 7 positions in 6.5 years in government. So I'd like to start with 3 points. The first of which is the clarity of purpose. Most of you harboring thoughts and interests of government, you have to define it. You have to understand why you want to be in government. You have to understand what it is you want out of service. Because that understanding is what will support you when the going gets tough. 9 years ago, I was an investment banker in Lagos, making good money, advising the top corporates, flying around the world. I enjoyed myself. I was 23 and I was already a manager. I had an interest in government, but reading the newspapers, following the politics, watching news, and what have you. But this one day, we got a project to advise a state government in Niger Delta to raise some money. And it gave me insight into how government works. I spent 3 months in that state. And after that, I came up with 2 simple conclusions on why government does not work. 1, a good to bad people ratio. From my view, it was 10% to 90%. You have 90% of the people thinking about their pockets, thinking about their own interests. So if we all believe and understand the concept of garbage in, garbage out, why should you expect a different result? Then the remainder 10%, they have a capacity problem, they're poorly educated, they're poorly paid, they're unexposed, they're unenlightened. So what sort of results do you expect from them? So at that point I said, I will stop talking, I will stop criticizing on BBMs, I will stop tweeting and sending messages on Facebook, and I'm going to go in there and start becoming a positive change agent in government. That's number 1, the clarity of purpose. This leads me to my next point, which I call the preparation and the hustle. Back then, I wrote letters to 10 governors. I wrote to 20 gubernatorial candidates. I wrote to every single minister Goodluck Jonathan appointed. These letters were quite interesting. I said, I'm a young investment banker. I have done this over the last 3 years. If you hire me, I'll make you shine. I know why they didn't respond. But I didn't get any response. The few that responded were rejections. There was no spot for me. It was a dark part of my life because everyone around me said, you have a promising career in the private sector. Why throw that away for the murky waters of politics? But there and then, in my readings, I came across a quote by Abraham Lincoln. And it said, opportunities may come to those who wait, but only those opportunities left by those who hustle. I chose to be a hustler. I don't want the chicken bone. I want the meat on the chicken. Then I'll leave the chicken bone for those who wait. So we continue to move. This one day at the office, I got the opportunity to pitch some ideas to one of the ex-governors in Nigeria. Normally, I would prepare these presentations in maybe 5-10 minutes. I spent the entire night rehearsing. Over 70 takes in front of the mirror, going over the presentation word for word, because this was my opportunity. I saw it. That if I impressed him, perhaps he could introduce me to someone who was in power and who could give me the opportunity I desired. And that's exactly what happened. He introduced me to a sitting governor who only gave me 3 seconds. I said, I'd love to work for you. His response was, no problem. Send me your CV later. For those of us who understand how government works, government officials are experts in diplomacy. Later is never. And I saw him walk away. 2 seconds later, he was about to step out of the door. I said, another quote, when opportunity presents itself, don't hold it with your first finger or your second. Grab it with your 2 hands and your 2 legs. If possible, use your head also. So I said, if I don't take it now, I might lose it. So I walked up to him and said, with all due respect, Your Excellency, I've been chasing this for 2.5 years. My CV is in my pocket. I'm a young man and I know what I want. Please review this and let me have your thoughts. He looked at me twice. Like, where did this young man, 24-year-old, get the nerve to speak to a governor like this? But guess what? He spent 3 seconds reading my CV. And after that, he said, I'll make you my senior special assistant on investment, 25. That's how I got the opportunity. The last point I'd like to talk about is, it's fine to get in, but what is most important is, what next? What do you do when you get in? It's so easy to get into government or public sector and jump into the Coaster bus, the Toyota Coaster bus. Is that 4-year Coaster bus where you sit in, put your seatbelt, there's food, there's drinks, and you recline. And for 4 years, you don't do anything. Then you come back and campaign. But for something that we want so bad, or I wanted so bad, how could I blow that opportunity? My job was to review public-private partnership proposals. I was getting 20 every month, and I was supposed to recommend to the governor. But it was coming to me and not an institution. I became the bottleneck. And in government, from bottleneck, it goes to toll gate. From toll gate, you go to bigger pockets. But that's not what I came for. Because the question you must ask yourself is, what will they say about you when you leave? What is that narrative that you would like when you're done with your job in 4 years? What do you want people to say? So I researched with a few friends in Oka and in Lagos, lawyers. We wrote a 17-page document which birthed the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency. I essentially tried to institutionalize a role that was once personalized. 4 years down the line, that agency employs 40 people. It's attracted 50 billion naira of investment. It has created 5,000 direct jobs. it has also created 15,000 indirect jobs. I give this point because I say, please, when you do get your opportunity, focus on impact, focus on value. The searchlight, the spotlight will find you in your corner when you're working. So to round it up, I'd like to talk about the outlook of the public sector for young people. Do I think there will be opportunities? I think there will be tremendous opportunities. It won't be a case about finding opportunities. And this is for 3 reasons. One, with the passage of the Not Too Young to Run bill into law, that reduces the minimum age for elective office, and by extension, political appointments, there will be abundant opportunities. And for those of you who are following the trends, the narrative of the political parties right now, everybody is promising 40% to young people. Some other parties are promising 50% to women. So the opportunities will come. And last but not the least, technology is disrupting how we do business of government. Technology has redefined how government interacts with itself and with its citizenry. So guess what? Unfortunately for the old people, and fortunately for us, we design technology. We build technology. We own technology, and we drive technology. So they will come looking for us. So my last point, to call it a day, is when those opportunities do come, I only ask and plead that you understand that you do not represent you alone. You do not represent your family. You do not represent your community. You represent 120 million of us who, if you do well in office, you create more opportunities for them. Thank you very much.